Well, hello friends, and welcome back to the cabin. Guess what? Yeah, I'm still working on the siding on the inside of the workshop down here. I tell you what, people that jump on the internet and expect to see something already complete, especially something the size of a workshop like this down here, and the amount of time that it takes to put it together, I'd have to wait for what, almost 3 years now to put a video out. But yeah, no, I'm showing you the whole process from, actually raw material in the woods, right? To running it through the sawmill, to planing it down, to nailing it up or screwing it in. So yeah, so this is what's on the menu for this week. We milled up some siding. This is actually poplar. And what I did was I took the dado blade and I went around the edge right here. If you're new to this channel, and we're making shiplap. Since plywood is too expensive for us to purchase, we're going to take this raw material that we have and we're going to make shiplap to go on these walls. Now I've got me a little workstation set up out here to be able to handle this material, so let me show you. I've got the planer set up over here, and underneath here we've got the table saw. Then we've got another log on the sawmill to be sawn up. Not really sure if I did 2 or 3 logs. Of course, they were small diameter. Yeah, some of these are wider than the other ones, but like I said, it doesn't matter. As long as they will stack on top of each other right there. One can be 10 inches, one can be 14, one can be 6. It doesn't matter. I also stopped and had to pick up some finish nails. So let me go ahead and get this thing loaded, and we'll get started and see what it's going to look like. I've already got one of these cut to go in the bottom right here as a starter. I believe it'll go. Yeah. I think it's going to look quite nice myself. Alright, now 4 3/4. It is right there. We can get this one up there. I think I better shave that down just a hair. Oh yeah. Okay. What do y'all think? Think that looks pretty good? I think I'm just going to leave this natural, since it's going to be on the inside here. But I think it's looking really, really nice. And it's doing exactly what I need it to do. Well, I only cut 10. I'm about halfway, so I think we may have to cut some more because these are not quite. Well, all of these were 10s, and that's how I used to count it, so. Well, there's only 4 boards left, so I don't think we're going to have enough to probably get us right up about in there. Well, I'm working on trying to get around these boxes right here, but these boards are not thick enough, so I'm going to have to cut the next one too. I think it worked out all right. Well, this is as far as I can go. It's looking real good though, because one of those pieces is actually too short, and then the other piece, it is a cutoff to go up top. So I'm going to have to mill up some more. So I think that before I go any farther on that wall over there, because I'm going to have to mill up this other log that's out here on the sawmill, I'm thinking it's starting to get cooler in the morning. So what we might ought to do is take that insulation, clear out this area here, put that in the wall, get those walls covered, because it's starting to get a lot cooler in the morning, and that way I'll be able to have a fire down here, because we've also got to build a door for both the front and the back there. So that's quite a bit of work. So I think that's what we should do first before we work on the rest of these walls. Because until I get this area finished, I won't be able to get that little potbelly stove up here and build a fire in it. Probably should have started with this wall, because like I said, it's already getting cooler during the mornings, so this will allow me to finish this wall. That way I can get that potbelly stove, because I've got to lay the rock here and all that and get it in place so that we can start having fires down here, so we stay warm and work down here in the winter time. Put a few studs in here. Not that I really needed them, just give me a place to put my insulation. Well, I've been down here trying to clean up around the saw because we were so busy yesterday trying to make the siding to go in here to finish this little cubby hole area so that I can start getting the rock laid down and get that potbelly stove moved over there for the wintertime so I can work in here. So I got the saw kind of cleaned up and looking good. I've still got to bag all of this material right here. I'll tell you what, that's really good fire starter. And then I probably got a big 55-gallon trash bag full. The same as what I'm saving right here. Because when I get down here and be starting fires, working during the winter time, we'll use up a whole lot of that. Getting a lot of this wood burned as well before it starts to rot totally. So I don't know if you guys realize that that's probably an accumulation of all of the buildings that I have built up here over the last 5 years because it was getting stacked over here. So what I'm doing is I'm working my way through that pile. And then I've got one more over there. Then I can clean that area up and I can actually back the four-wheeler in right there where all that wood is piled. And this wood right here, I've probably used and reused it many times on scaffolding and just different things that I was doing around here, and a lot of it was offcuts as well. So I'm trying to get that burned up and kind of get the area cleaned up a little bit. And I got one log right here that I went and got. I cut it off at 9 feet. I want to get that loaded on before I drop that grapple because I got a big pile of logs down in the hollow, but there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of stacked in front of it, so I need to drop that and put the forks on there so I can move those pallets. But I wanted to get that set on the sawmill before I take that grapple off. So let's get that set up there. Well, I'll tell you what, it seemed like it took a long time to prepare this material, but I really like it a lot better than what I would have normally done. So I may do this from here on out as far as preparing my material. It's all the same thickness, and yeah, it's just, I think it's going to work out a whole lot better. If you're wondering, I'm using 1 3/4 inches. This is 3/4, and I want it to be at least 1 inch into the material there. So I think these are going to work out okay. I really like the way that they fit too. They fit really, really nice. So taking that little bit of extra time, I know that it seemed like that I was doing a lot of repetition over and over, but that's what it takes in order to get it right, you know. I'm down to where pretty much milled up good sized poplar. I'm probably going to have to switch to pine. I don't know how that's going to affect my table saw and my planer out there, because what I'm going to be doing is green, so it'll be a little sappy and a little sticky, so hopefully I won't gum things up too bad. Well, I've been bringing the boards out here, that way I keep all the sawdust outside. Okay, gotta have one a little bit better than 8 foot, like 8 foot and almost a quarter. Right there. We also have a face side on these because I didn't do both sides. I really didn't see the reason to. So we just planed off one side, and that's how it goes on. Just like that. Well, yesterday I was able to take the tractor and get that potbelly stove lifted up in here and get it situated over there where I want to use it, but I got a problem, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right there is where I wanted it to sit, and I even got some bolts to hold that door on right there, but we can't find anything that will retrofit from this to something that is round. This could possibly be ordered if we could find it, but the length from here to here is larger than anything that they make. So I do have this other wood stove that I used in the sawmill back in the day, and this one does have the ability to use the 6-inch pipe. So we're going to dig this old stove out here. See, it's got the 6-inch lip on it right here. And I've already got some fire brick in there. I just need to get it cleaned out. So we'll get that dug out of there and get that moved down there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll take my time later on once I get the workshop complete, and we'll work on that potbelly stove and actually redo it. Sand it down, repaint it, the lettering, make it gold, and I think between now and then I might be able to locate either somebody that can make that, like a machine shop. The problem is I need to get this wall closed up so that we can get on with getting the inside covered so that I can put doors and have heat in there, so I don't have time to look around to try to, you know, find a place to do that. So right now I do have 2 stoves, so I'll just use the other one. And then this one right here, we can save it as a project and redo it. Now, as long as I put my hole high enough up here, even though I'm using that other small stove, once we get that done, we could bring it in here if we can get the adapter and hook it into our existing pipe. So that was the reason that we went and purchased this stuff right here, because I have got to get that sleeve set in the wall right there so that I can finish this wall on up. And because it'd be easier to do to cut the hole out on the outside and this inside as I build it up there, as opposed to do that and then try to cut both of them at the same time. I had to stop on the wall to try to figure out the material that I was going to need, not knowing that I wasn't going to be able to use that stove, but it's still going to work out. But I needed to know with all of the material what the height was going to be so that I could take the hole out, and it'd be a whole lot easier to do it right now and just lay this back do my hole right there and then run this on up and do another hole, because we've got to insert that thing right there and make it a whole lot easier. So let me go ahead and get this moved, and we'll go ahead and figure out where this is going to go, and we'll bring our boards up. So I picked up this piece. This is going to be the sleeve that goes through the wall. Going to go just like that, or probably this is going to be on the inside right here. That way we need to get a hole drilled through the wall to accommodate this. I'm going to go out there and draw that. Well, friends, got this kind of put in where it needs to go. That's what it's going to kind of look like right there, the ring. And I think that might be right by the time we put the elbow and come down, but may have to move that just a little bit. Anyway, that's what it's going to look like, and I think that the wall looks really nice. Now we can start putting up that concrete board, and I can lay that on the floor. Actually, I've got some flooring to go down, then we can lay that, because I need to mix up some mud and lay the rock up against this wall right here so that we can actually, you know, crank the stove up with a fire and not worry about catching anything on fire. Anyway, you're going to have to stay tuned until next week to see what this all looks like, because I'm running short on time. I certainly do appreciate you stopping by. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.